It's a battle of the top two teams in Group D tonight as we close out Week 9 of the USL Championship. Two of the remaining four unbeaten across the entire circuit, San Antonio FC and FC Tulsa, here tonight on Fox Sports Southwest. A look at the Group D standings right now shows you that San Antonio FC is leading the group, 8 clear of Tulsa. But Tulsa has 2 matches in hand, meaning that the stakes are high on both sides. We welcome you upstairs to the broadcast booth with the coach Tim Hankinson. I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us. Well, San Antonio FC comes into tonight's match, Tim, perhaps off their best performance this season, a 4-0 victory the other night over OKC Energy FC. And despite playing on only 4 days rest, Tim, they were pretty unstoppable.
They were unstoppable, and the attack continues to grow in confidence. And what's so impressive to me is out of the 15 goals that they have scored this season, it's come from 9 different players, including 2 defenders. So everyone's getting into the act, and that makes it very, very difficult for teams to lock down your main guy.
San Antonio FC got 2 goals in the first quarter hour of the match to build what at that point was an insurmountable lead, and then just added on later with Mitchell Tainer getting his first as a member of San Antonio FC. And then Gonzalo Lorenzo putting the finishing touches on just an overall magical night.
It was a magical night, and like I said, this group is growing with confidence, and I think a lot of that has to do with the defense is playing so well that if you're an attacking player, you don't have to look over your shoulder and be worried about things. You're just moving forward, taking risks, being creative, and keep producing goals.
Let's take a look at the head-to-head matchup tonight between San Antonio and Tulsa, because you're going to see perhaps a good defensive battle as you see the goals conceded between these two clubs pretty even, where San Antonio has the edges in their attack.
There's no question about it, and you know, if you're San Antonio, you're thinking just keep building points, create separation, keep doing what we're doing. Whereas if you're Tulsa, you've got to have the mentality that to be number one, you got to beat number one, and tonight is what that is all about.
Well, these two teams met just 10 days ago to a 0-0 match. We'll see what happens on the field tonight. San Antonio FC and FC Tulsa should be a barn burner here. San Antonio FC players getting warmed up and getting ready to go for tonight. Coming up next on Fox Sports Southwest.
What optimism can do, whatever it wants. We've seen it unlock resilience that makes the impossible inevitable, inspire generosity to put families back on their feet, and give Davids courage to throw rocks at Goliaths. At Frost, we believe optimism can change lives emotionally, physically, and financially. And with your help, we're going to prove it.
Long shot, it's a goal! Maloney, the boots, and he gets it in low and left.
When ordinary people do extraordinary things, like becoming an organ donor, you give the gift of life. Without my brother donating his kidney and the world-class surgeons at Methodist Hospital Specialty and Transplant, I'm not sure I'd be alive today.
If you never have to donate an organ, you're lucky. But if you get to, you're lucky.
You can become an organ donor too by registering at sahealth.com/organ donor.
Yeah, sounds like another amazing weekend. Brought to you by the Toyota Tundra and Tacoma. Toyota, let's go places.
Go to buyatoyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. Well, any way you can watch San Antonio FC these days is a good one, which means buy air if you have to. San Antonio FC and FC Tulsa getting ready to kick here tonight at Toyota Field. Let's take a look at our starting 11s for both sides. For FC Tulsa, the man to watch is number 30, Lebo Maloto, in the middle. 4 campaigns in the USL with 5 goals and 5 assists. For San Antonio FC, as we take a look at their starting 11 tonight, no surprise it'll be the exact same starting 11 that they rolled with on Wednesday night against OKC Energy FC, including that man, Matt Cardoni, who picked up his 17th career clean sheet as a member of SAFC. 29, 24, and 15 as you see his season numbers, but his all-time numbers, 1.46 goals against average and a 67.6% save percentage.
Just looking at the initial lineup for Tulsa, it looks like they're going to go 4-5-1 with Ayagua and Maloto and Bird playing in a triangle with Suarez and Altamirano in the wings.
And there you see the lineup again for San Antonio FC. It is exactly the same lineup that they came out with the other night against OKC Energy FC. It is the first time that SAFC has played the same lineup in multiple matches this year. We are underway with the head coach, Tim Hankinson, our entire crew. I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us. Opening kick tonight brought to you by Pizza Hut as SAFC and Tulsa meet for the second time this year. 84 degrees tonight at kickoff. We had some rain cover the area earlier today. That kept our temperatures down. It is going to be a very pleasant evening for soccer.
I think you're going to see a very compact 5-man midfield, and very challenging for San Antonio to break it down unless they move the ball very, very quickly side to side and look to play the 1-2s through the midfield to get past players.
FC Tulsa enters tonight following a 2-2 draw against Alston Bold FC in their second home match of the season at 1OK Field in Tulsa. Tulsa 4 draws through their first 6 matches, and it is their best 6-match start in the 5-year history of the franchise. Remember, these 2 franchises came into the USL Championship both in 2016, and they both have only advanced to the postseason once, so both trying to revitalize each other's programs. And in Tulsa's case, it's been a complete brand change, as for the first 4 years of their existence, they were Tulsa Roughnecks. But this past offseason, Tulsa natives J.W. Ryan and Kyle Kraft purchased the club, and they rebrand the team as FC Tulsa on December 4th of 2019.
Yeah, I think the rebranding has been important. It's changed the whole mentality. New coaching staff with some great experience guiding these players. But I think for me, if you look at their record, again, another undefeated team, but the fact that their 2 wins come on the road against RGV and St. Louis, and St. Louis is a very solid squad, means this team is capable of giving San Antonio a very difficult match tonight.
Connor Maloney keeps this in play as he whips it in, and the corner, the first of the match coming up for SAFC, as this is headed out by Callum Chapman-Page. As SAFC got a good build-up with Christian Pirano coming on the turn. Pirano begins the night tied for 17th in the USL in goals with 3, but his 3 assists tied for 7th in the league as he stands at the corner stick to deliver our first corner of the match. This one bends into the top of the 6-yard box before defended out. SAFC is in an offside position. Flag stayed down, but the keeper, Sean Lewis, came up with it anyway. Lewis making his 7th consecutive start, 28-year-old, his 23rd appearance with FC Tulsa. His goals against average of .83 and save percentage of .792 are the best numbers of his career to date.
Yeah, he's young, but and doesn't have a lot of prior experience, but he's having an outstanding season. I've seen him come up with some big goal-saving saves, so he's very capable in the net. And of course, we've got one of our favorites, the Beard, who's been outstanding for this club.
San Antonio FC in their home black kits with the checkered red and white. FC Tulsa in their away white kits trimmed in orange. And Matt Cardoni will send this one forward. He's back on his horse, Matt Sheldon, one of 10 returnees for head coach Michael Insean, the 39-year-old, in his 2nd full season as head coach of Tulsa. Took over in the middle of the 2018 campaign. Pirano gives it a go and well over frame.
Well, and as I mentioned, his coaching staff, a guy who played for me in Indy 11, Vukovic, He's an outstanding player from Serbia, played for Columbus Crew and for the Republic in the Championship League. And then you've got Donovan Ricketts, who played for LA Galaxy as a national team goalkeeper of Jamaica and was actually MLS Golden Glove winner of the year. So great experience to help the head coach.
Christian Altamirano gets on the end of that delivery from Lebo Moloto. SAFC with a good recovery defensively. See if SAFC can carry over their attack efficiency from the match the other night. They set a season high not only in shots, coach, with 12, but also shots on target. 6 of their 12 on target in that match against OKC. It was their best shooting accuracy for any match this season.
Yeah, actually, for the season, it's the percentage of shots on goal is up to 42%. And this is one of those that if you can average closer to 50%, you can count on multiple goal games, and that's what we saw the other night.
It's the 11th all-time meeting between San Antonio and Tulsa. SAFC won the first 5 matches going back to 2016, but hard to believe they've actually not come up with a victory since defeating Tulsa in the 2017 Western Conference quarterfinals, whenever Guzman delivered the winner in stoppage time on the penalty kick. And so it has been almost 3 years since SAFC came away with the full 3 points against Tulsa, which is kind of, I had to do a double take when I saw that because of how much success SAFC had against the Roughnecks to start this rivalry when it began back in 2016. But Tulsa has played SAFC very tough over the last couple of years.
Yeah, their personnel, I mean, if you look throughout their lineup, players from Houston Dynamo, players for Nashville FC of Major League, Cuban national team players, Honduran national team players. So they've added a great deal of experience and expertise on the field. So it's quite a different group than what we've seen in those earlier years where it was really newcomers to the pro game and not really ready to step up and get the job done.
Ayagua as Lebo Moloto comes back on the ball. Moloto got his first goal with FC Tulsa in their draw Wednesday with Austin, and Moloto has just been one of the premier players in the championship over his career. 28 goals in 152 matches. Last year, 5 goals, 10 assists, playing with Nashville in 31 appearances. South African native who's always been one of the better playmakers in the USL. Has started his championship career as a member of Swope Park Rangers back in the day.
Yeah, and he seems to be taking up a position ahead of Bird and ahead of Yagua to create this triangle. And Moloto is very physically strong. There are no soft spots in that group of 3, and that's going to give, you know, San Antonio a lot less freedom, a lot less space to play, and time on the ball in the center of the park.
This delivery into the area is headed wide of goal, and question is, who was it headed by? It looks like it was San Antonio was trying to go quickly, thinking that it was Tulsa, but it indeed, as the referees confirm, it was off SAFC. It'll be a corner. You can clearly see off Zachary Harivo right there. Tulsa will have their first corner of the match. Luis Guardia is our center referee tonight, working with his assistants Caitlin Trowbridge and Francisco Bermudez. Stefania Estrada is the 4th official. Morano unable to come out of the pack. And Rodrigo da Costa trying to whip this one in, and will set up another corner. Da Costa last year was all second team in the USL. 13 assists, were second most of the championship to go along with his 11 goals. Tulsa's best player by far a year ago. And a good ball delivered here, but headed away from goal. Mitchell Tainer, or Hunter Gorski rather, got on the end of that, and this one's delivered back in from outside by Altamirano, and Matt Cardoni comes away with the ball.
Yeah, going back to Da Costa, he's just an outstanding target striker. He can run the channels, he can hold the ball up. He's a Brazilian, great feet. And so we've got 2 great center forwards, number 9s tonight with Solniak and Da Costa to watch.
And also Dario Suarez up top for Tulsa, 27-year-old Cuban player who had Goal of the Week honors in the USL back in Week 7, a screamer in their victory against St. Louis.
Again, just like his teammate who's not on the field yet, Ariel Martinez. Both Suarez and Martinez played in the Gold Cup for their national teams of Cuba, so international experience all over the field.
Luis Guardia says play on after Pirano went to ground just on the edge of the box. And a throw coming up for Tulsa, and you can early on feel intensity of a critical regular season match, which maybe oftentimes in August you don't normally get, but
right.
Considering the fact that for both sides there's a lot at stake in terms of the deficit that Tulsa has facing San Antonio FC, and especially if Tulsa can come away with all 3 points. Remember, they have 2 matches in hand as well, too. So
those are big advantages.
Big difference in the group, perhaps.
It is. You know, we talked in pregame about Tulsa looking ahead, wanting to get to first place, but you got to beat the first place team, which is San Antonio. But you can't get so caught up in that you don't look over your shoulder, because you've got Austin, who also has 2 games in hand, playing RGV, who has been struggling this year. And it could be that if Tulsa doesn't come out successful tonight and Austin wins, Austin jumps them. And Tulsa goes home now not in second place chasing San Antonio, but back in third place trying to get back in playoff spot.
And my guess is the rest of the group are SAFC fans tonight, because that keeps Tulsa within striking distance of everybody else to try to take the second spot out of the group.
Absolutely.
Here's Josh Yarrow as he switches the play across to Mitchell Tainer, and you see SAFC in their 3-5-2. As Tainer moves it along the touchline, stays in play. Blake Smith unable to get to it. Matt Sheldon come away with the ball. Sheldon, he was looking in Meloto's direction, and then there's going to be a foul here on Tulsa. And Rafael Aguaya will give San Antonio FC a set-piece opportunity. Ayagua a little bit surprised the foul was on him rather than on Zachary Harivo. Otherwise, a good-looking opportunity here in the first quarter hour for SAFC, and PC over the ball.
Great left foot.
Bit of a deeper delivery perhaps than he wanted, and Hunter Gorski unable to run it down.
Yeah, I was watching Tainter on that one, number 20, who got the goal in the last game. When a center back gets it and gets that first goal, he's sniffing. He wants that other one. So they're going to be aggressive on service like that.
Ayagua, and brought down by Eric Bird, formerly of RGV.
One of the tactical challenges today, Dan, is when you have a team like San Antonio playing only with one wide player on each side. They don't have an actual right back or left back. They just have their wing midfielders in their 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, depending on how they're shaped at a given moment. But you're going against a team now that's in a 4-5-1 that's got a wing back and a wing midfield. Therefore, Tulsa has a numerical advantage in the wide areas. So for them, the key to get penetration and opportunities down the field is to be able to switch the point of attack to the wide side and run that wing back with the wing midfield, as we're starting to see here.
As I was saying, that's what they're doing right now here, is Tulsa getting forward. Meanwhile, Altamirano is down behind the play. And a whistle and a foul on Tulsa, and Altamirano still down as San Antonio FC continues to get forward. Here's Pirano as he finds Salignac, who's in an offside position, before he delivers that one into the back of the net. And that will give us an opportunity, or the entire Tulsa bench screaming for the opportunity, seeing that Altamirano is still down on the pitch.
Well, and Altamirano has had some injury issues this year, and they've used number 10 Santos in the past when he's not been available. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes out of it.
He's back up and he's walking off just fine. Should see the challenge from Blake Smith. And Altamirano with a word for Luis Guardia.
Yeah, he's a valuable player. I mean, he's got over 200 games in Honduran premiership, their top league. And with experience with the Honduran national team, this is a quality winger.
7 goals in 33 matches last year with Tulsa, second season. Native of San Pedro, Honduras, as Sean Lewis will boot it away off to Sheldon. Early moments of this match, SAFC, which scored twice in the first quarter hour on Wednesday night, held scoreless here so far. 2 goals gave them 3 in the first 15 minutes for the year. They have 5 goals in the first half hour this season, so a third of their goals come early, and that's a key I'm sure that Tulsa has paid attention to in preparation for tonight's match.
No question. Everyone scouts each other. Everyone has hours of video of their most recent games, and there are no secrets out here. And how disciplined you are in your game plan to take out the opponent's strengths and to be able to quickly get at their weaknesses is really, that's what dictates results.
I think in OKC's case the other night, they were somewhat guilty of the fact that they tried to settle into the game, and it clearly just didn't work out for them, as Altamirano is in an offside position here, trying to get on the end of the service there from Dario Suarez.
Here tactically is what you saw, the quick switch to the winger, Suarez. It's very important that wingers get in behind San Antonio's wing midfielders, to get behind Maloney and to get behind Smith, because if that happens, those wing midfielders have got to drop for San Antonio, and that leaves the wing backs all the freedom in the world to press high, to advance the play.
Beautiful turn. What a setup. Salignac in alone. Salignac, great save by Sean Lewis coming out. A tremendous delivery from Christian Pirano to Luis Salignac, and that typically would be in the back of the net the way the season's gone for Salignac, but an outstanding save from the keeper.
Yeah, Lewis, like I said, there's not a lot of pedigree, of background that you can point at and say, look at all this experience he has. But he is becoming one of the important keepers of the championship league.
This is a foul on Tulsa. SAFC trying to catch them quickly, and unfortunately too much there from PC with the left.
Again, just trying to control that shot is so important, that this team has a high shot on goal percentage, and the shots we've seen tonight have both been taken off on us. So we've got to do a better job keeping the ball down, and that's just body control, follow through. If you're a left-footed shooter like PC, keeping your right shoulder down to make sure your technique is locked in.
Gorski returns to Matt Cardoni. He started every match this week in the absence of Dane St. Clair, recalled to Minnesota United. This takes a deflection, lands back to Zachary Harivo and Jose Gallegos. And a little bit of a miscommunication there upfield with Salignac.
Even though that touch got away from him, I like the attitude, getting his first touch forward, trying to get penetration, get defenders to commit to him so that he can slip a ball to Solniak. Because this Tulsa team, if we take time to possess and play it back and play it around, everybody is getting behind the ball, and very difficult to break down at that point. So it was Gallegos taking some risk. It didn't quite work out, but I like it. It's going to pay off later in the game.
Gallegos coming back into the starting 11 for San Antonio FC here over the last couple of matches. And I think that this is, you and I have talked about it a lot this year, that the ability for Gallegos and Pirano to play off one another and complement each other. They're so dynamic together. It's sometimes, maybe too much dynamite because you have such two athletic, quick players, but they've learned to play with one another in more than just 15, 20-minute spurts.
They have, and again, a lot depends on the matchups. In a previous match,
as this one is delivered by Lebo Maloto just wide towards that back post.
One of the two central midfielders, Garcia, is 33 years old, and all of a sudden he's not able to track a guy like Pirano or Gallegos into the box, and they find those moments of freedom. Tonight we're seeing Tulsa play a little bit differently, because that triangle that they have are all very solid, accountable players that are going to lock in defensively and make it very difficult to find central play.
Tainer has got some running room up the left touchline. Callum Chapman Page, Eric Bird. Back into the middle of the park. Moloto and Sheldon switch the play back for Chapman Page. And Bradley Bourgeois, second go around with Tulsa. He was, remember that 2017 Roughnecks team that lost here in the conference quarterfinal matchup. Last year played in Nashville along with Lebo Moloto. Perano turns the Jets on. Good penetration upfield. Gallegos with an attempt that's blocked back outside. Smith. Perano, that's off his hand and called on the spot there by Luis Guardia.
Well, you can see the quickness and explosiveness that guys like Gallegos and Perano are starting to show in playing quick combinations to break down the numbers. And I think this is headed in the right direction and will create the kind of chances we need tonight.
Tulsa in their match on Wednesday against Austin, they too had season high 15 shots, 7 which were on goal. Maybe their best offensive output of the season too. And as we said, you saw at the top of the broadcast, just 8 goals for them through the first 6 matches. So their full attack hasn't come to fruition just yet, but a lot of talent for Michael Encian up front with guys like Moloto, Suarez, and Rodrigo da Costa.
It is, and you know, you look statistically, in the last 3 games, Tulsa's hit 78 crosses. That's a lot of serve. So they're a team that likes to get the ball wide, try to double up numerically by pushing that wing back with their winger, but eventually it comes down to getting that service in. So it can be very dangerous.
Mike Smith, feels pressure. Gallegos, you see 2 collapse on Jose. He'll return it back to Mitchell Tainer.
And the other thing, because that triangle for Tulsa is it's tough stuff in there. A young player like Gallegos starting to float outside where he can find a little bit of space to work with. Very difficult to find space centrally right now.
Tulsa's not making it easy out wide for either Gallegos or Perano. Seems as if they're going to have more success in the middle of the field tonight rather than out wide. Early on, though, this has been controlled by SAFC. One opportunity they had, Mucho Salignac denied by Sean Lewis. Here's Blake Smith. Looking into the area, defended out by Chapman Page and cleared away. Moloto with the turn. He was looking in Suarez's direction, but didn't get a lot on the pass and picked off by Connor Maloney.
That's a good pickup by Maloney. He read the pass very well. Get us back in possession quickly.
Also really boxing up that final third of the field. You know, they've allowed Tainer a few times to get well past the midfield line to try to find something, but there just hasn't been a lot of spaces there so far.
Well, you know, a lot of teams like San Antonio, they like to step high and pressure you up against your penalty box, looking to do the work there to see if you can play through the pressure. Other teams like Tulsa tonight is sitting back, very compact, very little space to play through them, and that's also a different way to test, can a team break you down?
Sheldon concedes possession to Gallegos. Blake Smith back with the ball. Gorski out for Maloney, and he's got running room there as he makes the run back into the final third. Doesn't really have anything to work with, though, because of the recovery. PC. And back here for Yarrow. You can see why Tulsa's only conceded 5 goals here so far.
Yeah, it's a lot of players behind the ball, very compact, very organized. I mean, having said that, Tulsa really hasn't created a dangerous chance for themselves, and we've had 2 or 3 very close opportunities, including really one-on-one situations with the keeper we just didn't do well enough with, but the chances are coming.
Evan Garcia over to take the throw. 30-year-old who spent a lot of time in Major League Soccer with Houston Dynamo, 30 appearances with them. PC. Pressure coming, and again stepping up there. Blake Smith was Altamirano, but he got it through to Gallegos. Zachary Harivo.
But then you start to see Tulsa swarming.
Now some space developing here as Harivo gets to the edge of the box. Crosses it into the area. Ayagua will send it out. It'll be San Antonio FC's second corner.
Yeah, when we have the ball wide, whether it's Smith or whether it's Gallegos, Tulsa sends 4 or 5 players. They really start to swarm, which means they can't watch everyone. And that run, the blindside run by Harivo to get in was brilliant.
Gallegos the in-swinger here by the near stick. That's a great ball to the top of the 6. Headed out, settled. And Maloney, though, sends it over goal. Connor Maloney making his 8th appearance. And on the first time, Coach.
Yeah, well, he watched Gallegos hit one like that. But Gallegos, I think, was cutting the grass. It never lifted. So it just takes great body control to stay over it.
That's so hard to do, to bring it down like that.
Yeah.
And to even just get it on frame. That's world class in itself, regardless of what you do with it
right,
at that point.
Right.
Now Maloney back on his side of the field as he escapes pressure. More of a attacking press in this instance from Tulsa. Now they try to get numbers behind the ball once again, but there's Pirano making him look silly in the midfield. Gallegos lost his footing as he was trying to turn and concedes possession. Tulsa playing off the advantage, and now referee keep the whistle in his pocket. Harivo. Chase this one out wide.
Great combination play. Everyone playing quickly, not trying to hold the ball for too long.
Smith puts it off the back of Altamirano and knocked away there from Mario Suarez, who's down after the challenge, and SAFC's keep possession alive. Suarez, you can see over there, he's down. This ball floated along, and Sheldon knocks it out of the area. It remains in play. Gallegos, as he makes his moves there around Matt Sheldon, but it was fun to watch, even if it didn't amount to anything. And now the sportsmanlike play from Mitchell Tainer. Whoops.
You're feeling it. He's feeling it. It's fun. I think that's one of the great qualities right now over the last few games. This team is having fun.
So crafty with the ball, Jose Gallegos. Central Catholic product here in San Antonio. Scored his second career goal in stoppage time to begin this homestand to preserve a point for SAFC last Saturday night against Austin Bold. And then Gallegos assisting on Dorenzo's goal that capped the 4-0 victory on Wednesday night against Energy FC. Second on the club with 11 chances created, trailing only PC. Solignac makes the run, defended by Bourgeois. And you can hear Tulsa saying, force them wide, force them wide. And that gives you an idea of what the strategy they're playing.
Yeah, and the reason they want them wide is because Maloney is left alone most of the time. He doesn't have a playing partner like you would if you had a natural wing back or a winger in front of him. And our attacking players aren't making runs into those gaps that allow him to play a ball down the line. And you're getting a little bit of the same with Smith, although I will say Gallegos comes over and gives him a bit of a playing partner. But they feel that's the weakness, to get it wide to those two and keep it out of the middle where you have PC and Pirano and Gallegos, who are really the heart of the talent of the team right now.
Yeah, and this is not necessarily a San Antonio team that's going to play a lot of balls over the top per se. from the wide players necessarily. And that's what Tulsa has forced him into doing, or at least attempting to doing so far.
Right, this is not a crossing team. I make a comparison tactically of
Parano just missing with that attempt.
Of two teams that many of our observers would recognize. That if you look at the great years of Manchester United, that was, Giggs on one wing and Beckham on the other. It was about get the ball wide and have the two center forwards crashing the box for service from wide positions. Whereas their arch rival, Arsenal, was never looking to cross the ball. It was all very direct, attack the box. And that, to me, is very much the style that San Antonio has devised. And it really plays well to the players they've got.
Garcia. Suarez. Back to Kevin Garcia. Not a lot of possession for Tulsa here through the first half hour. At least not a lot of meaningful possession.
No, and some of that is the way they're defending, meaning they're allowing San Antonio to have more time on the ball and letting them build up, because their strategy is not to reach out and pressure and get stretched, where the quickness and the counters out of the midfield and combinations can break you down quickly. They want to sit back, but that allows San Antonio more time with the ball.
DaCosta went down, and now SAFC on the counter again. Here's an opportunity and another big save from Lewis as he denies Solignac for a second time in this first half. Meanwhile, DaCosta got upended back just outside Matt Cardone's box, and the Tulsa bench was not happy that there was no foul called on that play. But it did set up a pretty good-looking counter again for Solignac, once again denied by Lewis, who's had himself a half.
He is playing unbelievably right now. I mean, normal circumstances, as you mentioned, Solignac slips those away and we're up 2-0. But he is saving the game for Tulsa right now.
Came in tonight, 19 saves, 24 shots, 2 clean sheets, and Solignac, who's tied with Parano for the team leading goals with 3. But he has just been money in the bank every time he's had the ball at his feet when he's been in close quarters like he's had so far here in this first half. This is a test on Cardone, but all the way out by Dario Suarez is not going to amount to much.
Well, as you and I were talking about before, as you look at the league leaders in goals around the league, and you look at Junior Fleming, a Jamaican that comes out of, is playing for Phoenix, and he's got 9 goals in 7 games. We don't really have a scoring group that is that guy. But we've got 9 guys that have been scoring the 15 goals that we've scored. So to me, that's more dangerous. So on a given night like now, maybe it's not Solignac's night. Maybe there's something not quite in sync with his game, but one of our other guys are going to step up and get it done.
Junior Flemings, as you mentioned, leads the USL with 9 goals in just 8 matches. Tyler Pasher is giving him a good run for the Golden Boot right now. 8 goals for the Indy 11 striker. The Phoenix coach has got 3 players with 5 or more goals so far. I mean, that's unbelievable. And of course, that includes the reigning MVP Solomon Asante, who's just having another sensational season.
Right. They're an outstanding side. As we've said, best team in regular season play the last few years. Not always the best team come playoff time.
6-1-1 as they begin the night with a league best plus 18 goal differential. And you still get the sense, though, that even if they're, at least to this date, not the best playoff team, all roads go through Phoenix right now in terms of getting out of the Western Conference.
Exactly.
Yarrow. Again, Tulsa building numbers behind the ball. This time, Parano found a channel. And again, concedes possession. And that's tough for guys like Parano and Gallegos, who are so good with the ball at their feet. But when you're compacted like Tulsa is doing tonight, it's so difficult to make those runs from the midfield in the final third because you just don't have the daylight like you do perhaps as you've had in other matches so far this season.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the match, we saw in the first 15 minutes or so, is Parano was sitting inside that triangle. And therefore, he had trouble finding the ball, and his teammates had trouble finding him. if you watch that last action, he is pressing up now as the build-up comes against the center back and playing with his back to the center back, almost allowing the center back to feel like he's marking him. But then all of a sudden, at the last second, he makes this checking run into a space to get on the ball, and his teammates are starting to find him then. So it just takes time for you to find the space, because with space, you become dangerous.
Space for Smith, off a deflection. Lewis the save and brings it down to himself. Let's say hello to the fans tonight. They're watching on Zoom inside Toyota Field right there, and also joining us on Fox Sports Southwest. Again, this is the fifth SAFC home match that we have not had fans at, or the fourth home match. Of course, we had fans on opening night back on March the 7th, and hopeful to get the fans back in the stadium at some point before the season concludes, because as I mentioned on the broadcast Wednesday night, that's probably been the only disappointment of SAFC's season, is that they've put together such a wonderful campaign through the first half of the year, and very few people have gotten a chance to witness it live.
Right. But this club is so well organized. They do such a great job promoting, and they've done a fantastic job putting this team together and building that winning culture and chemistry in the locker room, developing its youth players. The player development program here is #1.
As we're in a hydration break in the 36th minute, let's take a look at the Group D standings once again and show you what's at stake tonight with FC Tulsa and San Antonio. It's a wide gap of 8 points, but again, FC Tulsa has 2 matches in hand. So if Tulsa were to take all 3 points tonight, theoretically then, should they win out the remainder of their games, they'd win the group by 1 point, regardless of what SAFC did. But a long way to go. For SAFC, they begin the second half of the season tonight. Remember, it's a 16-game schedule, and the top 2 teams in the group will advance to a regionalized base group of 16 playoffs going forward. So I don't want to say that time is winding down, but time's starting to wind down a little bit.
It's winding down. You know, Dan, I wanted to mention, I talked about a few minutes ago how this team is enjoying it. They're having fun. But, you know, I wanted to find that and clarify that, is that some years ago when Major League Soccer started, the AC Milan national team player from Italy, Roberto Donadoni, came over. And we were talking about the difference, how he sees the American player. He says, the problem is the American player often sees the word fun at the game as being different than the Italians. Is fun in the game for the American is, hey, let's make the goals bigger, let's make the space bigger. It's birthday soccer. It should be fun, all right? In Italy, for football to be fun, it's about executing a combination that leads to a final pass and a volley in the back of the net and a celebration. But in order to get that, you have got to put in so many repetitions, so many hours of grueling training that is how you achieve fun at this level. And I think this team looks at it that way. They work hard. Their coaches have them being very accountable and detail-oriented. So fun for me is their ability to execute, and that's going to win them a lot of games.
And nothing's more fun than winning, and that's what they're doing right now, too. Christian Pirano and Jose Gallego has been a big part of SAFC's attack all season, and here they are tonight. Just, watch them coach ball at their feet. They haven't had the space tonight that they've had in previous matches, but they're still making those Tulsa defenders work.
They are, as long as you keep driving at them, keeping your head up and get more movement off the ball. Again, that run that Harivo made down in the corner here, those kind of runs off the ball for guys like Gallegos and Pirano to feed is very important. Sometimes when you have guys that like to dribble and run at teams, there's a tendency to kind of just watch them. And our guys have got to be as dangerous without the ball as our players are with the ball.
Hunter Gorski, and tonight wearing the armband as the SAFC captain. Out wide, Connor Maloney. Good dipping ball in for Solignac. Touched Gallegos. And on a night where they haven't had that many great opportunities inside the box on setups like that, Gallegos sends that one wide.
Dan, what I like is that if you remember, the first few shots of the game were way in the upper stands. We were getting under it. And the last couple of shots have all been maybe not quite on target, but they've been low good velocity, and it just seems like we're getting sharper and sharper as the game goes on.
Rare poor ball from Lebo Moloto, who's looking in Dario Suarez's direction. And as probably we're not giving enough credit tonight to SAFC's back end, because they've done a pretty good job of limiting anything from the top three, Moloto, Suarez, and DaCosta to this point.
There's no question, and one of the guys that they don't have in the lineup tonight, I know he played a full match midweek, and therefore, being a senior player, they're probably saving his legs, and we'll probably see him late, but Ariel Martinez, who's played in the Gold Cup for Cuba, tremendous number of goals in his career playing for FC Miami, and he is their playmaker and usually their captain. So for me, this is about Tulsa keeping it tight, don't give goals up, and later in the game, let's start showing our best hand. Interested in SAFC season tickets? Well, you can have a video call right now with an SAFC representative. Go to sanantoniofc.com/virtual table to join the Zoom call through the end of tonight's match. Purchase tickets during the call, and you get a 2019 game-worn San Antonio FC jersey. So you're thinking about tickets, want to have a virtual call through Zoom, you got SAFC representatives standing by to take your call. Solignac with a turn. Solignac out wide is Maloney. Right back Pirano. He's got a lane. That's blocked. And pushed out by Tulsa. But San Antonio right back. Pirano again inside the box. Maloney. Is that a handball? It is a handball. And a penalty awarded to San Antonio in the 42nd minute. That was by Moloto. Couldn't quite tell. Yeah, no doubt about that one. So Solignac to the ball. San Antonio, which scored on a penalty Wednesday night in the 14th minute. Solignac will take this one. He's due. And Solignac puts SAFC ahead, sending the keeper the other way in the 42nd minute. San Antonio's broken through with a 1-0 lead. I'll tell you, I'm surprised the experience of, he's 30 years old, he's been in a lot of leagues. Moloto, very surprising that he would defend with his arms out inside the box. I mean, typically defenders have got to keep their arms very close to body or even behind them in close range situations like that. So unfortunate for him, but great for San Antonio. And this will probably, Dan, change the game, because now they can't sit back anymore as Tulsa has been doing. They've got to come out, open up their game, and become a more offensive team. So Solignac takes over the team lead in goals with his 4th, and tonight his 9th match of the season. Does it from the spot, and SAFC for the 7th time in their 9 matches this year has the opening goal. This from a club that has only trailed for all of 52 minutes this year through 9 matches. Pretty good. That's darn good. I'll take that any day of the week. And, you know, we've had some games where we've played with a lead and had to learn how to manage that lead, whether it's early in the game like this or in the closing 10 minutes. So we've learned through those lessons, and hopefully we do a good job with that tonight. It's a throw coming up for Tulsa. Sheldon will take it. And like you, Coach, certainly curious to see how Tulsa tries to open the game up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, sometimes teams won't make that move right away because it's still early, unless that move can play to strengths that you've just not shown yet. But if being an offensive team is not necessarily the mainstay of your game, then this early in the game, 1-0, you can equalize as the game goes on. You're going to wait 20, 25 minutes of the second half to see where you are then, and at that point, with 20 minutes to go, start to add some pieces from the bench from an attacking standpoint. Like I mentioned, Ariel, they have a left back who almost plays like a left wing, Vangel Zaguro from Albania, who hits crosses as well as anyone in the league. So they have a few pieces they can go to. In the meantime, if you're San Antonio, don't sit on this 1-0 lead. You're at home, and it's very important that you fight right now to get that second goal and start to secure the result.
Altamirano. Eric Bird puts it out wide. Garcia looking in Suarez's direction. Blocked by Yarrow, and a throw here for Tulsa. This will have 3 minutes added time here at the end of the first half.
No turn. No foul. Yeah, well, stay up. Right, Con. Get the ball, stay up.
Moloto concedes Solignac. Zachary Harivo fight off Moloto there for the ball, and Harivo is driven out. Possession to Tulsa. Callum Chapman-Page. Gallegos trying to get loose. And Eric Bird. That's over the touchline there. It'll be a throw for San Antonio.
Well, you can already see from Tulsa starting to open up a little bit, and that's going to really work to the advantage of players like Pirano and Gallegos, because they're going to have room to get on the ball, turn, and run into spaces to attack Tulsa for that second goal.
Gorski. It's Pirano. And Suarez called for the foul. Dario Suarez, 4 caps with the Cuban national team. 23 goals in his 47 matches over 2 years with FC Miami.
And those were great Miami FC teams. I mean, they were winning championships in the NPSL and in the NASL before that. So good quality side.
Maloney. Harivo. Touch there for Pirano. Didn't finish his run, and then the foul with San Antonio. Sayagua gets back to his feet.
I've noticed Harivo exploring a little bit more than I'm used to seeing. We've seen the penetrating run earlier down the left side. We see him playing on the 18-yard box with his back to goal, playing a targeter to lay off. But he can afford to do that because PC just sits and waits, sits and makes sure that that front defender in front of our center backs is a secure spot. I mean, when they call that number 6 position a holding midfielder, it's because you need to hold. And that's so vital because if a team tries to counterattack, you're sitting waiting for it. You're not chasing it as it gets behind you. Such an important understanding in putting a system together.
Harivo breaks free here, is in the area. That's blocked. Maloney trying to run it down before it rides out, and he'll save it. Come to the end of stoppage time. And halftime is upon us at Toyota Field. San Antonio gets on the board late in the first half, and a penalty for Lucho Solignac that finds the back of the net for his team-leading 4th goal of the season. And in this battle of the top 2 teams in Group D, San Antonio FC go to the locker room with a 1-0 lead. It's been an exciting night at Toyota Field, a defensive battle, but San Antonio up 1 after 45 minutes. Our halftime is next on Fox Sports Southwest.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
Hi sports fans, I'm Jeff Davis. To be a successful athlete, you need to have a great strategy. And just like your favorite competitor, at Davis Law Firm, we play to win.
Working remotely during this national emergency, we settled a wrongful death case for $6 million for the family of a father killed by a company van.
That means call the Fours because the Fours are with you. So if you've been in a car truck wreck, call me at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. We'll come to you during this broadcast. That's right, there's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Ever wonder where the capital A in Chick-fil-A came from? It started with grade A, top quality chicken. But we believed everything, not just the food, should be grade A. A is for all the little things we do to bring you our best every day.
To me, the A in Chick-fil-A is for above and beyond. I know that I need encouragement right now, and I know that our guests need encouragement. It's about making sure that they know that we care about them and that we're going above and beyond for them in all the details.
Whether they learn about science in a classroom or a kitchen, if recess happens in a schoolyard or a backyard, or lunch is enjoyed in a cafeteria with classmates or on a computer with friends, it all starts here at H-E-B, where you'll find the school supplies kids want and the lunch supplies and snacks they love, all at low prices. So wherever it happens, start your school year here.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
The USL is proud to bring professional soccer back into our communities and across the ESPN family of networks. Follow your local club and don't miss these exciting matches coming up on ESPN2 or ESPN Deportes.
Dr. Champus, the U.S. Soccer has recently instituted the Play On campaign. Try and explain what this looks like in the grassroots communities around the country all the way to the professional level.
Yeah, Mike, I think it starts first and foremost with each of our stakeholders, whether you're a club, a coach, a parent, a player. It starts with setting a tone. It starts with setting a culture and really setting realistic expectations, understanding that COVID is a virus is going to be with us for an unknown amount of time. The guidelines are very basic and fundamental. What Play On has really created is a single voice and something that all of us can point to as a safe and responsible way that our kids can develop, continue to play the sport, can come together in a very responsible way under the guidance of local, state, and national guidelines that really can be one that highlights our sport across the country and in the world. And Play On has demonstrated, I think, over the last 2 months, a very consistent message. And that hasn't changed.
Dr. George Champus, Chief Medical Officer for U.S. Soccer, thank you for not only your time now, but also the work you and healthcare heroes around the country have done over the past months.
We know times are uncertain right now. While Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel can't offer you the slots, poker, and bingo you love, we are certain we'll get past this together. Until the reels begin to spin again, stay home and stay positive. We'll see you again soon.
Low shot, it's a goal! Maloney, the boots, and he gets it in low and left.
Yeah, sounds like another amazing weekend. Brought to you by the Toyota Tundra and Tacoma. Toyota, let's go places.
So, what does a basketball coach know about the complex and overwhelming HR issues small businesses face every day? Nothing. But these guys do. SWBC PEO knows that running a small business isn't easy. Their team of experts can handle your benefits, payroll, workers' comp, and just about anything HR related. Partner with SWBC PEO so you can get back to doing what you love, running your business. SWBC PEO, payroll, HR, benefits, and workers' comp.
We know times are uncertain right now. While Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel can't offer you the slots, poker, and bingo you love, we are certain we'll get past this together. Until the reels begin to spin again, stay home and stay positive. We'll see you again soon.
Halftime as San Antonio FC up 1 over FC Tulsa here at Toyota Field as we bring you back upstairs to the broadcast booth again with Tim Hankinson. I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us this evening. Coach, let me start with Tulsa. If I'm thinking that I'm coming in playing a defensive battle, then we almost played a perfect half of soccer right there. And then on the flip side, if I'm San Antonio, we broke through there at the end. That should open up the game more to our strengths in the second half.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, San Antonio has to solve their wide issues. It's obvious that Tulsa's come in to close up the middle and invite the play outside. But now it's a whole different strategy. Tulsa came in, as you said, wanting to defend out of it, get to halftime, no goals against. But now being a goal down, and they have to start opening up and start showing. And if you look at statistically that they've only taken 2 shots, it's very clear that their game has to change more offensively in the second half. But for San Antonio, keep doing what you're doing. Fight for that second goal. Be persistent.
Saw the handball against Lebo Moloto. That sets up Lucho Solignac in the 42nd minute for his 4th goal from the spot. And SAFC is up 1 at the half. Here's a look at the numbers, and you can see from Tulsa's strategy, just 2 shots, none on target. And San Antonio FC really trying to control the tempo as you'd expect they would here at home, the way they've been playing.
Yeah, I would expect Tulsa to come out with some changes. As I mentioned, Ariel Martinez, a tremendous playmaker. And that's what they're lacking right now, is who's going to set up a Suarez or different players to get that goal that they need to equalize. I think we'll see him entering the game.
We'll see what happens. Second half coming up. SAFC up 1 over FC Tulsa. We'll have the next 45 minutes coming up.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
Whether they learn about science in a classroom or a kitchen, if recess happens in a schoolyard or a backyard, or lunch is enjoyed in a cafeteria with classmates or on a computer with friends, it all starts here at H-E-B, where you'll find the school supplies kids want and the lunch supplies and snacks they love, all at low prices. So wherever it happens, start your school year here.
When ordinary people do extraordinary things, like becoming an organ donor, you give the gift of life. Without my brother donating his kidney and the world-class surgeons at Methodist Hospital Specialty and Transplant, I'm not sure I'd be alive today.
If you never have to donate an organ, you're lucky. But if you get to, you're lucky.
You can become an organ donor too by registering at sahealth.com/organ donor.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
San Antonio FC Soccer on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Toyota. Go to buyatoyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. San Antonio up 1 after 45 minutes. Second half coming up on the other side, right here on Fox Sports Southwest.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
Whether they learn about science in a classroom or a kitchen, if recess happens in a schoolyard or a backyard, or lunch is enjoyed in a cafeteria with classmates or on a computer with friends, it all starts here at H-E-B, where you'll find the school supplies kids want and the lunch supplies and snacks they love, all at low prices. So wherever it happens, start your school year here.
When ordinary people do extraordinary things, like becoming an organ donor, you give the gift of life. Without my brother donating his kidney and the world-class surgeons at Methodist Hospital Specialty and Transplant, I'm not sure I'd be alive today.
If you never have to donate an organ, you're lucky. But if you get to, you're lucky.
You can become an organ donor too by registering at sahealth.com/organ donor.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
Games in the championship as we look at the action of teams in Group D. KC Energy FC drops yet another as they are soundly defeated on the road 3-0 by Sporting Kansas City. And at the half, down in the valley, Austin Bold FC is up 2 goals. Colorado Springs Switchbacks and El Paso Locomotive in a Group C battle finish 0-0. So if the result in the valley holds, this result holds, you would have a switch. The number 2 slot, Austin would jump Tulsa, coach, into the playoff spot with still a lot of games left to play. But again, the thought is that, as I mentioned before, if you're everybody else in the group, you're hoping for an SAFC victory.
No question about it, and that means Tulsa's got their work cut out for them trying to catch back up to Austin. It's no longer about SAFC.
Right now, the players clapping for healthcare workers, not only here locally in South Texas, but across the entire world. The people on the front lines, day in and day out, who are battling to keep us safe throughout this pandemic, and hopefully to a point where, again, we will have the fans back at Toyota Field at some point in the course of this regular season. San Antonio FC, their next home match will be on September the 5th when they'll take on RGV FC, as they'll be away at Rio Grande Valley next Saturday night.
You're already seeing a reshaping of their system for Tulsa, where it almost looks like they've moved to a 4-3-3, playing 3 players across the top to put pressure on the 3 center backs, try and even those numbers up. create one-on-ones, to create new opportunities that we didn't see them make in the first half.
Second half underway with Coach Tim Hankinson, our entire crew. I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us here on Fox Sports Southwest. SAFC trying to run their unbeaten streak to 9, 5-0-3, 3-0-1 here at Toyota Field. Match unbeaten streak is the second longest in club history, behind only the 10-0-4 start that the 2017 squad got off to. And Tulsa also trying to extend their unbeaten streak to 7, which is already a franchise best. And these two clubs, 2 of just the 4 remaining unbeaten across the 35-team USL Championship.
Yeah, tactically, one of the things you can see is that Maloney and Smith, the 2 wide players for San Antonio, drop all the way alongside the 3 center backs. So you're basically playing with a back 5. What that does is it leaves the wing backs for Tulsa free, but they're not coming forward. So they're really being ineffective in being able to take advantage of that. And I give a lot of credit to the center midfielders for San Antonio, because when the ball is on the side, they are sliding across very quickly and aggressively to shut it down. So a well-coordinated group.
And a throw here for Tulsa. Saw SAFC moments ago try to play a vertical ball from their back end upfield. And again, with Tulsa playing a little higher up to start things in the second half, you might see more of those vertical balls from SAFC to try to get a second goal. Eric Bird, Rafael Ayagua, the head of Jose Gallegos.
Yeah, we've got a couple of the Tulsa players starting to warm up on the sideline now. No question they'll be making changes.
Suarez tried to make the run. Well defended there by Yarrow. Tainer and PC floats it along to Gallegos. And he makes the turn there, and well defended by Sheldon. Tough spot to be out wide if you're the defender, Matt Sheldon, the right back on Jose Gallegos.
Yeah, you know, Tulsa's just got to find a way to create more opportunities. If you're their center forward, you've had nothing. You've not had a touch tonight, and that just isn't quality enough in order to get goals in this league. So trying to find a way to keep those strikers from starving so they can find ways to find the back of the net is just they just have to do a better job.
Over the top here, Suarez able to run it down as he runs on Gorski. Moloto. DaCosta inside the box. DaCosta, as it's stripped away, and Cardoni will send it forward. I've not mentioned Rodrigo DaCosta's name very much here tonight.
No, and he's been an important feature for them. But he's just not been in the game tonight. But, you know, a team that's basically been told to come out and defend and be patient and don't give up anything is not going to be a game in the first half that's designed to feed your center forward. But I think we'll see more now.
Moloto. It's at the feet of Eric Bird. Back to Lebo Moloto. DaCosta and Suarez in the middle of the park. Suarez, nice put out wide. Altamirano, edge of the box. Whips one to the back post. And is that off Maloney or off Moloto? It's off Moloto. It'll be a goal kick for Cardoni.
We're definitely seeing a better effort offensively from Tulsa. More urgency.
Which I'm a little surprised they didn't necessarily come out with that philosophy to start the game tonight. I understand that you're in a way on the road against the best team in the group, and you're protecting perhaps your spot above the playoff line at this point in the season, but you also have an opportunity to really put some pressure on the top team in the group as well.
There's no question. I think to get a full understanding, you'd have to look at the number of games they've played in a short period of time. You know, the coach understanding where the legs are at, whether you can start with an all-out attack or whether you're just going to be patient. I think you also have to look at their 2 wins come from the road, and how they played those games might reflect the way they started this game. But, you know, from the standpoint of going head-to-head against the team that's at the top of the ladder, and for me, you just have to bring it. And I think Tulsa's maybe overcalculated this one, which is why they find themselves a goal down and very few shots in the first half.
Bourgeois, Chapman Page out wide, Matt Sheldon. Ayagua. DaCosta, Eric Bird, good build up with Moloto, getting forward. Looking back there, going to ground. DaCosta wasn't going to get that call.
Hey, don't do that to me in my game.
You heard center referee say that right there. Well, I tell you, that's been, again, it's been unfortunate we haven't had the fans here, but in a way it's been sometimes fun to hear what's going on the field.
Yeah, everyone's mic'd up.
Luis Guardia, the center referee, telling Rodrigo DaCosta, don't do that to me in this game. Connor Maloney puts one into the area, and that's boomed out. I didn't have to read his mind. I knew exactly what it was going on there.
So it looks like we have Ariel Martinez that plays very much as a playmaker. And then Santos, who comes in probably in a wing position to give fresh legs, new approach.
And that'll take out Ayagua. It was a rare start for Rafael Ayagua, just his second. But again, Martinez started Wednesday night against Austin, 33 years old, so he'll get the second half here.
And the way Ayagua was playing in this, he was playing like a double pivot, more of a holding player with Bird, and letting Moloto play a little bit freer. Now you'll see a reshift where Martinez will go to the top of that triangle, playing right underneath the forward.
And Marlon Santos, the Brazilian, is the other player comes on, as Altamirano will come off as well. So Marlon Santos, who wears number 10, he's got 6 goals in 15 matches all time with Tulsa. Came on at the end of last season, had 5 goals in 9 appearances. It was Tulsa's best stretch of the season. So a little more firepower up front with Marlon Santos. And then, as you mentioned, Coach, the veteran Ariel Martinez.
You know, there's no question that even though they've not scored a ton of goals this year, they have goal scorers. The guys with track records playing for top clubs in top leagues, and so just got to get their rhythm going.
And I like that the coach, Michael Insian, he didn't wait for 20 minutes to give those 2 players an opportunity to make an impact. I mean, he's given them basically a full half here.
Yeah, and I think the way San Antonio is playing, you had to make moves to change the game now.
A heavy touch there as Garcia can't run it down. Martinez says, my bad.
This is the situation with Maloney, though, where, you know, on the switch like that, he doesn't have a playing partner like you would have a natural wing back or wing midfielder in front of him. So San Antonio has to figure out, where do we give him help? Is it Yarrow, number 4, that leaves the center 3 and comes over and help, or does that help come from the midfield like Harivo coming over?
Vertical ball as Seliniak looks to run it down. And a corner for San Antonio FC, which will be their 3rd one here tonight. And on the flip side for SAFC, we haven't talked about it a lot because they've played so well. But again, this is their 5th match in 15 days.
Right.
So that starts to build up a little bit. I'm sure it's in the back of the mind of Alan Marcina right now as he watches this game develop. And I'm sure it's going to play a factor as we go a little bit deeper here.
No question about it. And there's going to be a time you have to give legs relief. But I'll tell you, when you are...
Oh, as this lands dangerously down, and Hunter Gorski had it at his feet and just couldn't settle it to get a shot on target. But he had the whole near side of the net open.
He did. But as I was saying, is that you don't feel the fatigue as much when you're winning. And I think Coach Marcina wants to establish such a lead that in the later games, the last couple of games, he can start to get some fresh guys in and make sure that his starters are fully ready for the playoffs. Over-calculating right now when they're winning and they've got a rhythm and they've got confidence might be too early to start overthinking the rotation.
Kai Green is getting ready here on the bench, so he may come on early, perhaps maybe earlier than expected. And it looks like he's going to come on for Josh Yarrow here on the right side.
Green's a good versatile player, can play in the back three, can also play where Maloney is, out wide. We've seen him in a game over there this year, and he brings a little bit more attacking qualities down the right flank. But he can do the job in a number of spots.
So Kai Green makes his 5th appearance of the season. He started last Saturday against Austin, did not play in the match on Wednesday night, so he's got full fresh legs here as he comes on.
Yeah, he had a great match against that attacking left back for Austin Jome. So he was the right man for that job.
Maloto, defended by PC. Chapman Page, looking for Martinez. Kaner stepped up. San Antonio on the counter. Sloniak delaying his run.
I think the partnership of PC and Harivo is very solid, because if PC goes and chases something, Harivo is dropping in and able to cover his shoulder. And if Harivo goes chasing, trying to put pressure in the midfield, then PC is always in. So neither of them are ever out. There's always one doing the hard work, the other one finding the cover.
I believe Marlin was shown a yellow there. As the tackle on Maloney in the 59th minute. Marlin's second caution. And you see him right there, he comes up.
Yeah, that Maloney's a real soldier, isn't he? Hard work. He's a guy that statistically isn't going to really show very much from an offensive standpoint. You're not going to see goals and assists. But when it comes to interceptions and tackles and challenges, and a guy who can get flag to flag for 90 minutes every single game. I don't think he's missed a minute of the entire season.
Yeah, just one match he sat out the game Saturday night against Austin.
Oh, that was it.
Right. And Kai Green was taking his spot there. That was it. He's played every other minute since. You're right. I mean, yeah, he puts his heart out on and he goes to work. 11 clearances, 15 interceptions, 19 tackles. A player who was drafted by Columbus in Major League Soccer and 13 appearances. Is SAFC is going to concede a corner here as we hit the 1 hour mark. Third corner of the night coming up for Tulsa. Ooh, that looked like it was off of Marlin. SAFC players telling referee at a video board here, you can watch it too, the replay. I don't know if he appreciated that. Service in, punched out, brought down, it's loose! Oh, what a save by Cardoni with a right hand!
Big reaction save.
That was Marlin who came down with it. Well, it might have even gone off Maloney too, perhaps. Yep. Shorter play into the box, that's a handball.
But a great defensive stand. Yeah, we were just talking about Maloney, what a great work ethic, and you said he was drafted by Columbus. In the early years, the Columbus Crew slogan was hardest working team in America, and I'm sure they saw him playing in college and said, that's our kind of guy.
25-year-old, only in his 4th pro season. He's not retained by the Crew after his contract expired, but he's done yeoman's-like work here for San Antonio FC. Tainer looking over the top for Solignac. Bradley Bourgeois gives it away. Wrong person to give it to. Gallegos gives it a go. Oh, that was a screamer from 20 yards out that had eyes for the upper corner.
Not a good giveaway by the center back.
And Bradley Bourgeois very fortunate that Gallegos turns that one wide. PC overlapping there as Blake Smith will get it out to him. Plenty of room on that left side.
Get up, get up.
Good recovery by Matt Sheldon there. He'll force a corner.
I love the stutter steps of Gallegos, and we see this also in Pirano's game, is stutter, trying to get that defender to just freeze one step so you can get your next touch and get that shot off.
Gallegos over to the stick to take San Antonio FC's 4th corner of the match.
Attack it now. Good idea, good idea.
Plays a little decoy ball to Blake Smith, corner of the box. Back out to Gallegos, and now they want the offside flag, and it's up.
Good ideas, just the execution a little bit off.
Solignac, we did not mention this, Coach, but he picked up a yellow right before the penalty in the 41st minute.
Right.
As you can hear the Tulsa defense saying he's already on a yellow, he's already on a yellow. So he picked up a yellow card in the 41st minute. So something to keep an eye on, too.
Yeah, the Tulsa players trying to sell the referee on get that other yellow out and let's put the man down. And these are things also for Coach Marcina that he's got to look at. And at what point in the game do you not take that risk of losing a player when you've got a couple of big, strong Argentinian strikers sitting on the bench hungry to play?
As Gallegos is upended and the yellow comes out to DaCosta here for the challenge. His 3rd caution of the season. 64th minute. I'll tell you, the intensity, the general atmosphere of this game has certainly turned on its head in the second half to this point. Much, much different game than we saw in the first 45 minutes.
The first half, the effort by Tulsa was sleepy and slow and very much playing on their heels. And even though San Antonio did a good job in pushing the game, but now this is a whole new ball game. Both teams alive, aggressive.
Oni comes over to take the throw. Pirano. And a foul. And San Antonio is going to have a set piece opportunity here.
One. One. Hey, say uno. Yeah, no, get him on. Go uno. Hey, Mark. Level. Got him. Tom. Yeah, one.
You can hear Sean Lewis barking out instructions to his defense so he can properly space his team and see this delivery coming in off Christian Pirano.
Yeah, as a keeper, you're trying to get that one player or two player wall lined up correctly. You're trying to create some urgency but not panic.
And Lewis sees this one all the way through to him at the back post.
It's so easy on free kicks like that for a defender to switch off and not have complete alert. And that's all it takes when the ball's in the back of the net. So keeper's job is to communicate and make sure everyone's accountable and ready to mark their man and get physical. I mean, you've got to be able to jump into an opposing player's body so he can't get a clean header, and you've got to first try to beat him to the ball.
Lewis has been fantastic tonight for Tulsa. He's only conceded the penalty to Lucho Soliniak, but other than that, big reason why Tulsa's only down 1 goal at this point in the match. Foul again here on DaCosta. Native of Rockford, Michigan, played his collegiate hockey, Sean Lewis, or his collegiate soccer rather. I always see the Michigan guys, I think hockey. Played his collegiate soccer at Western Michigan, which actually also happens to be a pretty good hockey school too. San Antonio FC again just getting forward and taking what Tulsa gives them here, which has been a couple opportunities on set pieces now to try to reestablish themselves as set to cross into the 68th minute here. Tulsa's used 2 substitutes to this point. SAFC has used 1. Again, 5 substitutes in the restart over 3 windows. Cardoni. And the flag up on Pirano.
Yeah, I still think Tulsa's got to consider a couple of more options. Just fresh legs and try to continue to push the game.
Garcia. Moloto. Stripped of the ball. PC. Puts it right through the wickets there. Marlin gets it back. Now it's Gallegos. Weaves his way through a crowd, and he's got some running room. Gallegos, edge of the box, and Lewis comes up with a save.
This is where, again, it's a difficult thing for players to learn. But the ability to move without the ball when one of your teammates is driving into defense is, I watch the other teammates around Gallegos as he's dribbling towards their back 4 just outside the 18, and everyone was standing. Whereas if you can be moving without the ball, a player like that, drawing defenders, is going to find you and set you up for a great scoring opportunity. So as I said before, don't just think about the game being dangerous with the ball, but learn to be dangerous without the ball with those kind of unselfish runs.
Foul on Soliniak. Michael Encian on the Tulsa bench also throwing his hand up for the card. Anything to get Soliniak out of the match has made his defender's life pretty tough tonight. Slipped behind them a few times for opportunities back in the first half as Lebo Moloto gets back up to his feet.
Yeah, based on opportunities, he scored the penalty, but he could have a hat trick tonight. I mean, those were point-blank breakaway type opportunities.
Ariel Martinez switching the play across, Lebo Moloto. And delaying his run, Marlon Santos.
You know, when you talk about playmaking, they've put in Ariel Martinez, which normally is their playmaker, their captain. So he enters the game as a fresh player. And so the game should be built around for Tulsa in building possession to get it to his feet and let him take the risk of the final pass. That's what he does. That's what he's good at. When all of a sudden he received it and then plays to Moloto, the idea of asking Moloto to do this, that's the result. Is just not good enough quality to set up a scoring chance.
And again, Moloto just conceding the ball. Santos wasn't prepared to get that run on the left flank.
Yeah, so really the game for Tulsa right now is how do we get the ball to Martinez and let his experience as a creator do his thing.
Native of Havana, has represented Cuba 54 times at the senior level, 29 goals in those international matches, 26 assists as well.
That's good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I know when he played in the CONCACAF Gold Cup against Belize, he had a hat trick.
Yeah.
Not to say that Belize is in the upper echelon. But still, in a big tournament, international tournament like that, goals are goals.
Gonzalo Lorenzo will come on for Lucho Solignac. And again, we thought that, not that the game's getting away from Solignac at this point, but you want to preserve the fact that your striker doesn't get a second yellow and you go down a man for the final 20 minutes here either.
Right, and the coaching staff and every single Tulsa player is trying to convince the referee that Solignac needs another yellow.
Yeah.
So when you see that happening, it's just time to get him out and call it a day.
So Lorenzo comes on. You're not really giving up very much in terms of offense. Lorenzo's 9th appearance has got 2 goals this year himself. Bourgeois will send it back forward.
Yeah, and stylistically, I think Solignac is a better finisher, not as athletically geared, but Lorenzo, you know, as you've said, he has a couple of goals.
Maloney.
And he's a big body that's fresh and hungry. It's going to put a lot of pressure on those defenders of Tulsa.
He doesn't have the imposing figure necessarily, Gonzalo Lorenzo, that Solignac has. Solignac 6'1", 185.
Right.
He's looks like a true striker. But Lorenzo, 5'11", $163 is what they list him at. Certainly the skill and the finish to get it done. Meanwhile, here's DaCosta. Whips a great ball off of the head of Martinez and carries outside the area. Martinez gets it back, makes the turn, brought down. We play on. Pirano back the other way to Lorenzo. He's got some room up that left flank. Lorenzo running on Bradley Bourgeois. Inside the box, sends it across, and kept alive and forced out for a throw.
We know that San Antonio's team is built around a possession-oriented game. But when you see the commitment made by Tulsa to push players up, that occasional more direct counterattack ball, catching them before they can organize, can be very dangerous, like we saw there.
Possession will go back the other way. These two teams will meet one more time in Tulsa. It's coming up on September 26th. Actually, San Antonio FC is going to keep possession here on the set piece. Pirano, after the foul called, set up here. But I gather, and again, at that point, there won't be that many matches left in the season, so who knows. But let's say, for example, had FC Tulsa and San Antonio been playing next week, I think Tulsa might have come out with perhaps maybe a different approach in the first half.
Could be. Could very well be.
Watch him. He's off. He's off.
Pirano. As this one played a little bit short, couldn't get it over the top, defended out.
Well, and again, you go back to the Austin game tonight, where they can jump Tulsa with a Tulsa loss and an Austin win. And under those circumstances, it's almost like forget about positioning with San Antonio. It's about don't get jumped, and that's what's going to end up happening. And in order to do that, you can't be sitting back and defending on your heels. You need a more aggressive approach to the game.
And Austin right now that match is in the 70th minute, is ahead 3-1 on the road over RGV. Gallegos makes a deflection but lands down to Lewis as he comes up with it.
Well, like we've said all along in your approach to these, where you're playing at the same team 3-4 times, it's just win your series, and that's where we're moving in that direction with our games against Tulsa right now. So, looking good.
Go, Shelly. Pick up here.
Gallegos.
Right up top.
Right for the ball there.
Turn.
Martinez.
Faster. Move the ball. Let's go.
I really would like to see Tulsa maybe take one of those back four and play with three, pushing another one up into the midfield, and then one of their best attacking midfielders like Suarez or Martinez pushing up almost as another center forward to play with Da Costa.
Final quarter hour of this match, SAFC maintaining their 1-0 advantage. Although the second half has looked a lot different than the first to this point. Cardoni. Perano settling. Perano's got Gallegos out wide who's left. Oh, what a cheeky little move there by Perano. Lifts it over the top, couldn't get it to Lorenzo. But not for a lack of effort.
No, it was a great creative try. And what I like is young players like that will tend to go to moves and try creative ideas, but they keep trying and try to get that extra touch, and they inevitably lose the ball rather than finding their open teammate. I love how he did his trick and drew defenders and tries that little flick over the top to find that teammate, and that's what being a great playmaker is all about.
San Antonio back on the ball. It's Blake Smith. Again, Lorenzo. Stayed onside momentarily, and then the flag goes up on him.
Yeah, I just needed to bend his run a little bit back towards, to get back on sides a step and then cut back in.
Fabian Bastidas is going to make a season debut here for Tulsa. 26-year-old, spent some time with them last year. He's going to come on for Matt Sheldon. So, to your point, Coach, Bastidas more of a midfielder. They're going to play three in the back here in the last quarter hour.
Right.
They'll push Bastidas forward. He's got a little bit of punch offensively, but just trying to push their attack a little bit more forward. It'll go three in the back the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's the right time of the game to make that adjustment.
This one gets over Kai Green. Lebo Maloto. Marlin couldn't get his way around Harivo, and it's going to be a foul on Marlin as Harivo's down. Absorbed that drive by Marlin there, and Hunter Gorski's got a word now for Marlin. May have caught him there on the ankle.
Yeah, when he cut the ball back, he got clipped.
That'll take us to a hydration break here in the 79th minute. San Antonio FC up 1 over Tulsa. As we take a look at the upcoming schedule for SAFC. Tonight concludes a 3-match homestand. The club will hit the road next Saturday night as they'll travel down to HEB Stadium in the Valley to take on RGV FC, and then back here against RGV the following Saturday night. And then the following Saturday, their last match out of the group will be at El Paso. And then we're almost done with the season after that. As you'll see, 2 matches with Austin Bold and OKC Energy FC. 4 out of the next 5 right here on Fox Sports Southwest, including that match in El Paso on September the 12th. So after tonight, again, down to the final 7 matches of the regular season.
Yeah, and you look at the Rio Grande twice, and those teams are going to pretty much be out of it at that point. So we're certainly in the driver's seat, it looks like.
As Perano's night will come to an end here in the 80th minute, and Ignacio Bailoni will take him off for the last 10 minutes. His 9th appearance of the season. And Perano doesn't find the score sheet tonight, but for a lack of trying. You never get less than 150% from that young man.
No. And, it's a smart move. Again, he's been playing a lot of minutes, and even though there's only 10 minutes left in regulation, they've been adding a lot of extra minutes into extra time. So knowing that he's not going to have to play another 15, 16, 17 minutes and is really a good move.
And just thinking about, again, if this result holds and the result down in the valley between Austin and RGV holds, then SAFC is going to have an 11-point lead on Austin. And again, 11-point advantage with 7 matches remaining in the regular season. It's certainly not insurmountable, but it's a tall, tall order.
It starts to come down to 2 things have got to happen, is that San Antonio would really have to have a collapse. And Austin basically has to go win everything else.
Yeah, they'd have to be perfect. They have 2 more matches with San Antonio FC as Dorenzo is wrapped up by Bradley Bourgeois. Will be shown yellow. It's a professional foul, though, right there from Bradley Bourgeois. He was beaten by Dorenzo, and he knew it. But yeah, certainly, I mean, you're right. It would take a massive collapse. And again, for a couple of these teams, RGV, who SAFC is going to see twice, they're winless. Again, not taking away from their quality as a team, but they have found little success to this point of the year. So your next 2 matches are against them. You'll see OKC another time. But really, it's going to come down to those last 2 matches against Austin for if anybody's going to have a shot at unseating SAFC at the top of the table.
Yeah, and not to say that RGV isn't capable. I mean, one of the things about being an affiliated reserve team with a major league team is you know that major league eyes are always on you. Your Houston Dynamo club is watching every performance, seeing if you can make the grades. So there's a lot to play for, and as it gets fewer and fewer games, and you realize you're not going to be a playoff team, players are playing for contracts, you know, so there's still a lot of pressure to perform well.
Bailoni able to get on the end of this one just outside the box. You saw that last caution on Eric Bird. Here's Connor Maloney. And again, the biggest advantage for SAFC is that they're going to get back to a regular-looking schedule here over the next 3 weeks. And so plenty of time for recovery, plenty of time for practice. And hard foul there as Bailoni went down.
Yeah, when you have this many games with so little recovery time, there are a number of issues. One is that, you know, muscular fatigue, your body from just doing all of the running, the work, playing full games, starts to take its toll. When muscles fatigue, you take the risk of muscle pulls and all. The other part of it, though, which you look at young players who hold the ball as tight as Pirano and Gallegos, are the knocks you take. And those start to add up. That knock doesn't go away in a week, you know.
Speaking of knocks, that wasn't as hard a foul from Kevin Garcia as it initially looked. Just wanted to point that out. Bailoni did a good job selling it to get the set piece. Gallegos towards that back post and volleyed along and out. And a throw for San Antonio FC.
And I must say that, you know, modern clubs, the medical staff, the therapists, the ability to send guys to cryotherapy and get massage work and tissue work, it's they get so much attention once the game is over throughout the week, every day, getting recovery work done. That you know, these are great athletes, and they can get themselves back and ready. And like I said, when you're winning, you want to be out there.
DaCosta is off in the 85th minute, replaced by Brian Reyes. It's his first appearance as well this season. So Reyes and Fabian Bastidas both making their season debuts here. And a tougher night than certainly I expected from Rodrigo DaCosta for a player of his caliber and how much impact he had last season for this club. Just never really could get it going.
Yeah, I think that they did not have a central player in the midfield.
As Smith gives it a go. Another big save from Luis Bailoni on the rebound. Gallegos punched away from him by Garcia. It'll be a throw for San Antonio. Sorry, Coach.
No, that's all right. I don't think that Tulsa had a central midfielder without Martinez on the field that could feed DaCosta and the way he moves. Therefore, you're limited to get it wide, and they never really took advantage of that because the wing backs never committed to attack and create the 2-against-1 against Smith and Maloney to create dangerous crossing opportunities. So I just think their attack, I mean, DaCosta had no chance to be successful tonight.
Eric Bird across to Martinez. Time starting to become a factor for Tulsa here. Tulsa keeps it moving. Garcia. Bird will touch over here on the wing. Marlin getting forward. Good recovery by SAFC. Marlin puts it off PC. It'll be a corner. PC off the ricochet went off Marlin, but a corner awarded to Tulsa. Their fourth coming up.
Well, and this is what we've talked about, Dan, the ability to manage the final minutes of the game. How do we keep possession and not put ourselves in our own box with balls flying through? So all it takes is one, and now we've lost our points tonight.
It grazed off the hand of Marlin there. This one to the back post and punched out by Cardoni. Got up there in the crowd.
So this is where all of San Antonio's got to defend very, very well as a group and individually to make the plays necessary, to block shots, to make tackles. And now get out. Don't sit back. You got to get the defense out where you can play some possession and start to progress the game into an area field away from your box.
Oh, Gonzalo Lorenzo and Fabian Bastidas. A little bit of a confrontation over there on the far side. Bastidas. Is he shown red? Fabian Bastidas was shown red.
He must have struck
he must have struck Lorenzo, yeah. Martinez and Lorenzo in a battle, and then Martinez, oh, he kicked the ball
while
into
the
the face
down.
of Lorenzo, yeah.
Yeah. And there should be a follow-up yellow there for the push, the retaliation. But there's no reason to strike the ball when a player is down like that, as he did.
That's a short debut for Fabian Bastida, shown red and sent off here.
How many minutes did he get?
Not sure he got a quarter hour. Visibly frustrated Ariel Martinez over there with the outcome of that. I'm sure he wanted perhaps more to Lorenzo in the aftermath. But he may not also have seen what his teammate did too in this situation. Yeah, his back's turned, so he doesn't even see Fabian Bastidas.
Right.
He turns and sees the push, but he doesn't see Lorenzo on the ground and Bastidas kicking the ball into his face.
Yeah, Martinez didn't have the whole story.
So Tulsa is down a man here for the closing minutes of this one. And Bailoni will put it away for San Antonio FC. A breakdown in the back end, and Ignacio Bailoni is there to capitalize for his second of the year, and SAFC in the 89th minute goes up 2.
I'll tell you, you suddenly get a red card situation like that, and you have the arguments going on, and the defense got disorganized. Couldn't make the adjustments quick enough playing a man down to make sure that that was prevented. But great opportunity taken by Bailoni.
And Ignacio Bailoni scoring his 8th career goal. Coming on for Lucho Solignac, and both strikers tonight have capitalized. Solignac getting the scoring started on a penalty in the 42nd minute, and Bailoni putting it away here late in the 89th, and San Antonio FC is on their way to running their unbeaten streak to 9 matches here.
Yeah, and you hope that what's going through their head at this point is getting that second goal. One of the stats that we talked about already tonight being so impressive is the number of shutouts, the clean sheets. And so you don't want to lose concentration. You want to keep playing well. and preserve that for another shutout.
Well, they already lead USL, 5 clean sheets. Meanwhile, in the Valley, as you see, 7 minutes added time. So still a lot of time remaining. In the Valley, RGV is pulled to within 1 of Austin. It's a 3-2 line with 88 minutes showing on the clock there. Bailoni looking for his second and puts it wide.
It's a great quick release when that ball came back to them. I've always felt one of the most important qualities of a good striker is how quickly you can release your shot. I've known players that take time, they've got to set it or take one more touch, and it's just slow and gives the defender a chance to get in on it. But that was a quick one. That was great to see.
Hayden Partain will come on here for the closing minutes, take Zachary Harivo's place. And you made a point earlier in this game that it was probably the best we've seen on the attack from Zachary Harivo so far tonight.
Yeah, and it was his movement without the ball, runs, posting up, trying to get the ball to other players. He's not really a player that you need to make the creative pass, but getting forward knowing PC is sitting and got you covered, and that's such an important understanding of the game is you can be as free as you want to make runs through a defense, across the defense, as long as you know who's going to cover you and where to recover to. It's when you don't know those things that your play gets restrictive, where players are afraid to go too far because they know they can't get back. And this team is starting to understand that, and certainly PC and Harivo have that understanding going.
Set piece opportunity for Tulsa after the foul on Maloney. Moloto. Good bending ball into the box, hits the post, and the rebound falls wide. Oh, that's 2 posts in the last 2 matches. And you know it's your kind of season. That's a great delivery from Lebo Moloto. Marlin twice denied tonight, first by Connor Maloney and there by the woodwork.
It is one of those elements you look for in how a season is going for you is when you have those seasons where the ball hits the post versus going in. It just starts to convince you that this has got some magic in it.
It's been a quiet night tonight for Matt Cardoni again, as he only had to make 1 save in the match against OKC. Tonight, I don't think he's actually had to make a save officially.
No, I think that one shot hit off Maloney on the line.
Yeah, we'll have to
and
go
this
back
one
and
off
take
the
a look.
post.
Yeah, right now, nothing on target. So, see San Antonio FC again, 5 clean sheets. SAFC has outshot Tulsa 17-4 in this match, and 8 of their 17 on target. So again, what we saw the other night against OKC carrying over in that department. Great performance from the keeper, Sean Lewis, but it's going to likely fall short here in the end.
Yeah, I think for Tulsa, it's a long trip home trying to, decide how to react to this because so little offensive output when they actually have some very good attacking players. And they've shown to have a very good defense. So, but sometimes, certain qualities in your game, they just don't show up on a given night. And more often than not, that's on the road.
So before we get out of here, Matt Cardoni does indeed touch the ball. He'll get his first save there. He'll get his name in the books. Lorenzo.
Force it wide. Pick up top. Up top, feet. Go top. Step. Wide.
Gallegos unable to run it down. But I agree with you. I did not like Tulsa's approach in this game. I thought it was a big match. I thought Tulsa had a lot to play for with 2 matches in hand. They had an opportunity to come in here and make a statement. And I just think they really squandered the first 45 minutes of this game and waited too long to really find any semblance of an attack tonight.
Yeah, if you go back a few Gold Cups, Bob Bradley was our national coach, and USA was playing Mexico, our arch rival. And that's how we came out and played it. It was like sit back and hope that we can counterattack and steal a game. And that's not the way you play a rival. Now, I'm not saying that Tulsa is our specific rival. I think you could lean and make an argument for Austin and other clubs out there. But when you have number 1 going against number 2, it starts to become a rival. And I just think that their approach tonight was not aggressive enough, ambitious enough to think that you can actually get a result out of it.
Malotto, and there's Cardone again coming up with his second save. Yeah, to me, again, knowing SAFC, how good they've been defensively, sitting back and then couple that with their offensive prowess, which has been off the charts this year, trying to play 0-0 against this club, that's not a blueprint for success if you're the opponent.
No. And I think you have to find out more about yourself. You know, you've had a draw with them before. Let's go for the win tonight, you know, and try to take the game to them, try to surprise them. And again, to me, the way the system's matched up, the advantages for Tulsa were obvious, is play wide, extend the wing back with the winger, and double up on Smith and Maloney. It never happened. So,
but on the other end, this wonderful start for San Antonio FC continues as they're going to pick up their 6th win in 9 matches, improved to 6-0-3 as they continue to build their lead atop the group, and 7 matches remaining, and still certainly anything can happen, but right now they're preparing themselves for what they hope is a long run through the USL Championship playoffs.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really admire about this team and the start they've had is very early on, and I'd have to say this even in the awkward preseason where we didn't have our normal preseason, is they knew what they wanted. They came out of last year playing a back three, and just single wide midfielders and 2 strikers, and eventually it kind of grew into a 3-4-3 to take that offensive approach and to take a very aggressive defensive posture by stepping up and pressuring, not sitting back. This team had a plan from the beginning. They bought in. They're executing it. They are loving the results, and I bet you they can't wait to get back to practice this week and get ready for the next game.
Well, Eric Bird was just shown a second yellow and then shown red, so he's been sent off. And I think Tulsa at this point just wants to get off the field and go home.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a self-destruct going on right now, and as you say, they just need to call it a night and get back home and regroup and refocus on the qualities that they do have, because coming into this game, remember, an undefeated team, and so they do have a season to still fight for.
San Antonio FC is unbeaten through their first 9 matches. They have their first win over Tulsa since the 2017 USL Championship playoffs, and a 6th clean sheet, which leads the championship. And it's a big night for San Antonio, which completes yet another wonderful homestand. And in this stretch of 5 matches in 15 days, 3 wins and 2 draws. Pretty good.
It's pretty good, and the game unfolded as perfectly as a coach could ask for, getting some of your quality players like Solniak and Perano out of the game. It really has been back-to-back nights. I mean, it's been great to see, and can't wait for the next one.
Matt Cardone gets his 30th win and his 18th career clean sheet with San Antonio FC. Your club season continues next Saturday night. It's the start of a home-and-home set with RGV FC. 7 o'clock start down to the Valley. You can watch it on ESPN+. Plus, we're back 2 weeks from tonight, RGV here on Fox Sports Southwest. Now for the coach, Tim Hankinson, our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss saying so long. Your final, SAFC 2, FC Tulsa 0. This has been a presentation of the USL Championship in Spurs Sports and Entertainment. So long, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced
without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.